you would just be like, can I get this? Can I get this? Can I
It
get
depends. It depends. See, every guy wasn't a credit card scammer. Some was dope boys. Some was businessmen. So you gotta hire guys where you can be like, "Hi, can I see your credit card? Can you buy me this?" And they put out their credit card so I can whoop, take a picture of it, or I knew which one to take. If I was to go through their pockets or something, they got the dope boys where, okay, he get messed up here, he drink a little bit too much, or he smoking too much weed, and he goes to his drawer, hey, can we go to the mall? He's putting in the safe conversations. Now, whoop, I done seen you put in your safe conversation. Now I got it. People just doing too much, moving too fast, man. Just not knowing who you're around. It wasn't even that serious. They just didn't know who they was around. It's all street stuff. Nobody's wrong. No rules in the streets at all. Nobody's wrong. It was cool.
Hello, my name is Ryan Givins, creator and host of That Look docuseries. Thank you for joining us.
In 2003, in New York City, I was introduced to a man that everyone called the Baker. I came to learn that he was once convicted on some of the biggest financial crimes in the history of New York. Of course, I want to interview him, but due to him being in New York and me in Atlanta, we haven't quite found the time to get it done. But back in the day, when the Baker was doing his 1-2, he would always travel to Atlanta. And where he would really attend was the Atlanta strip clubs. And this is where he would befriend one of ATL's best kept secrets, a stripper by the name of Georgia Jill. To many, Georgia Jill was just a stripper. But to those that knew her and or felt her hustle in a negative way, she was one of the biggest con artists to ever hit the A. After being put in contact with her, she agreed to do an interview. So here it is, my exclusive sit down with Georgia Jill.
What's up? This your girl Jilly Jill for real. I'm from Decatur, Georgia, and this is my story. My childhood was amazing, honestly. If spoiled was a person, it was definitely me. Um, I didn't want for anything growing up, anything I ever wanted to do. My parents were supportive of me, from being a cheerleader to playing in the band to trying to run track. I did any and everything I ever wanted to do as a child. My neighborhood was amazing growing up. I grew up in the suburbs, starting from the hood. When I first moved down here, we came from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, coming from the hood, coming from a little bit more treacherous area than down here. It was like a breath of fresh air, quote unquote, but I grew up in a very, very nice suburban neighborhood.
And what does your mother do for a living?
My mother passed away, rest in peace, but she was a nurse and she did real estate as well. My mother owned two homes, a duplex in the house to be exact. A father, an entrepreneur slash paralegal. Life wasn't bad at all.
Great family, great life. But as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end.
How long were your mother and father married?
My mother and father were married for about 23 years before I came along. My parents are older. My mother was 65 when she passed away. Um, my father is now 70 years old. I'm an old, so my parents are old.
What was the reason your father left? Did you ever find out the reason your father left?
Yes, sir. My father got on drugs really bad. My father went from a paralegal to a heroin addict. My father got on heroin extremely bad. Lost everything. When my father started to do heroin, I noticed changes in our lives. Downgrading of apartments, homes, cars. My mother went from picking me up from school every day to walking to come get me. Then one day I never see my father again.
What kind of effect did that have on your mother? Did you see a change in her?
I definitely saw a change in my mother. Knowing what I know now, she became more distant as far as friends. Her social life, she became more focused on me and my brother. From what I've seen, it made her more stronger. It made her more willing to want more. In school, I was amazing. Up until about ninth, 10th grade, I was a cheerleader.
Why did you drop out of school in 10th grade?
Um, just getting caught up in life, having ADHD. School had got boring. I was no longer interested in cheerleading. My boyfriend was a dope dealer. Like, I was smoking weed. There was no point of going to school. Like, I didn't feel like there was no point rather anymore, you know? So I just stopped. Also, believe it or not, I was kind of bullied out of school by my teacher, believe it or not. I believe my teacher knew I was from the hood. Like I said, I was the only one in the hood going to a Christian school and the only one at the Christian school riding the bus. If you rode the bus, that meant your parents couldn't come pick you up or whatever the case may have been. And I just feel like my fourth grade teacher took advantage of that. It made me feel less than, rather. I automatically felt like I was an outcast. I even remember her saying, if you ride the bus, stand up. And I was the only person in the classroom standing up. It made me not ever want to go to school again.
And I'm guessing that was a white teacher too.
Believe it or not, it wasn't. She was actually black. Believe it or not, it was only, growing up, I only had 2 black teachers, and she was the only one who, no, she was not white. Yeah, she was the only teacher that belittled me, believe it or not. I experienced personally more racism in my own culture, versus not, you know.
And at this time, do you know where your father was? And how did that make you feel with him not being around?
At this point, I had no idea what my father was. I never thought of it. I never thought of him in a negative way. Let me say that. I thought of him, but I never thought negative. I even remember my mother telling me one day, like, you never asked about your father. Like, I never worried, quote unquote. I knew he was okay. I knew he wasn't okay, but I know he was okay though, you know?
Did you ever wish he was in your life?
Of course. I wish he was back with me. I wonder what he was doing rather than was he okay. I knew my father was okay. My father's a survivor. You know, I was raised by survivors, both strong black people.
And while you was in the street, like just getting into things kids do, what was your mom doing at this time? Like, what was y'all relationship like? Was she working a lot? Was y'all going back and forth?
Definitely working a lot. My mother was a workaholic. I do it for the ones that are not for the hood. TMI, I do it for the ones that are just from broken homes like the one I come from, whose parents just know money over everything. It's okay to not put work before your children, you know?
Do you think you would have gotten in less trouble if your mother wasn't working so much?
I do. There would have been the physical protection, the physical watching, not just the knowledge given. It would have been a little bit of all three, you know?
With a father addicted to heroin and a mother always working, Jill would inevitably find the love and attention that's needed for any youth growing up in another male teen. And once again, the pattern from good to bad will repeat for Jill.
I met my first boyfriend through this girl. It was love at first sight.
How did you find out he was selling drugs, and was that your introduction to street life by dating him?
That definitely wasn't my introduction to street life. Well, it was and it wasn't, because my father was from the streets, my parents was from the streets, but as far as me seeing and physically being a part of, I guess it was. So yeah, you can say it was my introduction. No, he didn't shower me with drugs or show me anything. He was really sweet. Um, I went off what I heard, not what he told me. He didn't tell me too much of anything.
What eventually happened to that situation?
He ended up getting killed. Rest in peace, Mon. Um, watch the company you keep.
Um, what did you hear happened to him?
Um, I heard various different stories, but what I can say and what I honestly know for sure is that everything is already written, and he did too much and had too many of the wrong type of people around him. Free game. It's never your enemy. Keep an eye on your close friends. Rest in peace, Armand. Mon Flemister, gone for not, but not forgotten.
How was he killed?
He was shot in the back of the head and in the back. He
Was
was shot.
where was he killed at?
Um, he was killed outside of his house.
So it was definitely probably somebody that he knew.
Exactly. Yes.
How did that? Was that your first major loss after your father not being in your life?
Yes.
And how did you handle that?
Horrible. My heart closed up. I was now numb. I didn't love after that. Didn't want to. Didn't feel the need to. Didn't pursue anything after that.
Um, did you have any idea, or did the streets have any idea who actually committed the murder?
Yes, sir. The guy who they claimed killed him, ended up getting killed as well.
Now, I did an interview earlier today, and it was a similar situation. Once you found out that he had been murdered, how did that bring you some kind of relief?
The guy who killed him,
Yeah.
yeah, I was happy. I was ecstatic.
Suffering another big loss would only push Jill deeper into the street life.
I became a hustler um, due to, I can honestly say, just reminiscing the lack of um, attention. Most people I was around yearned for the lack, for yearned for love. Most people I was around yearned for love, where I yearned for the attention of the motherly love that I knew I had, the fatherly love that I knew I have that I didn't receive. Um, Wanting more for myself, but not knowing how to go about it. It made me mischievous to run the streets. It made me mischievous, and I kind of just did what I wanted to out of frustration of attention, lack of attention.
Jill will find the attention she was seeking in the wrong place. She will hook up with criminal elements of her neighborhood. This is when she began scamming.
The first thing I got into was swindling. Um, I never was as bold as some may have thought, as one may have heard of me. Um, my mouth was my gift. People saw that. I say people, the people I was around, aka guys, saw that I was a talker and kind of used me to manipulate their plays, if that makes sense. I dealt with a lot of scammers, con artist rather at a young age.
What are some of the type of scams y'all would do?
Um, like I said, just manipulating people, manipulating them to send their information, debit card information, socials. They will do whatever with them. At the time, I was unaware. I knew what I was doing, but I was unaware of what they were doing.
So you hooked up with a group of guys. They would start the process. They would tell you what was going on, and then they would bring you in as the person to make it official with the professional voice or whatever.
Right. Not even necessarily tell me what was going on. They'll just bribe. Hey, Jill, I give you 300. I give you 400.
If you say this or say that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mind you, I'm young. I'm working. Mind you, my parents are from the streets, but I'm just as innocent as possible. Like, it just, I really didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know.
When this is going on, what age are you?
Oh, at this time, I'm about 13, 14 years old.
So you 13 to 14 running scams and getting money. Now, were these dudes, was they getting big money at this time, or was it just they still like kind of low level?
We were all around the same age. Um, we were seeing about 1,000 to 2,000. At the time, there was something called the dollar trick, where they went to the ATM, did put a little code in, literally put in $1, and then 1,000 will come out. So we're like 13, 14 years old, getting thousands of dollars. Like 3 plays, that's $3,000. Back in the days where Air Force Ones and the LRG outfit was the thing. So even just spending $300, you still had 5 and 6 in your pocket. We was living La Vida Loca. I personally got deep into it when I was about 17. Just growing up in a city like Atlanta, it just seemed like the thing to do. Personally, honestly, I was enticed by the life.
After being placed on probation, Jill decided to play it safe and get a legal job. But it wouldn't be long till she was being pulled in to another life.
So, this guy I knew and this guy I was introduced to basically saw I was more than what I was, more than the environment of Smoothie King. It was like, you need to be a stripper. And I'm like, what? Like, stripper? Like me? No way. I remember him taking me to the club, just as a friend, just as a customer, just going in there and just introducing me to the life. Um, he knew what he was doing. He enticed me. I felt like I needed to become a dancer at one point. I literally felt like I belonged the first day I walked in there as a customer.
So you weren't scared at all to get naked or nothing. It just felt like that's where you were supposed to be from the gate.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy how you said that. I was horrified. I was scared. I was nervous. I remember walking in there and seeing one girl, and she was butt ass naked. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't scared. I was just more shocked. Like, wow, like, whoa, like, she's naked. Like, she's butt ass. Like, in Atlanta, there's strip clubs all over the world. But Atlanta, Georgia, they get butt ass naked. Like, nah. I'm like, wow, she's butt naked at, like, with nothing going. And she's okay with it. I was like, whoa, Yeah. So I started at Kamal's 21, which is now called Platinum. I had Googled which clubs was the hottest clubs in Atlanta. So everybody hears about the world famous Magic City, but Magic City didn't hire me. They was like I was too thick. Like I heard they like the skinny girls or whatever. I'm like, huh? But whatever. So I just went to another club. I went to Platinum. Platinum was, excuse me, I went to Platinum. Platinum was more laid back, more more money oriented, if that makes sense. Magic City was more business. They call each other a family, whatever that's supposed to mean. Nah, Platinum was it.
So you got
Platinum was
hired.
dope. I got hired. Just started working from then on there.
Did you have to dance? Did you audition?
Okay, no, so I didn't have to audition. So auditioning at Platinum was just get naked, let them see your body, then they hire you or not. So you literally just got naked in front of the manager, I guess.
After seeing the strip club for the first time, Jill was primed and ready for the life. Or at least she thought she was.
It's crazy. Like, my first night, it was like, okay, so you put on your outfit and then you, like, get dressed. Okay, so you go down there, you get naked, you put on a costume, an outfit, like a bikini like outfit, and it's like, what's next? That's exactly how I felt. Mind you, most of these girls adapted to that environment. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do at all. I didn't get on stage till about 4 months of me dancing, yes. So despite the tattoos and stuff, the outgoing personality, I always was outgoing. I always was a natural born leader, a daredevil, but I never been daring enough to do something of that nature, if that makes sense. I was scared as hell. I was scared as hell. It was nothing how it looked. It was nothing how it looked. I literally had to get drunk to do it. At this time, I'm 19. I started dancing when I was 19. I'm 29. Um, I was 19. I was scared. I appeared, I was more afraid than I appeared. I wasn't built for it. I wasn't built for nothing I had signed up for. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
How long did it take you to get comfortable and to start making money and learn how to make money for real?
About 6, 7 months to get the swing of things. To okay, getting on stage equals more money. Um, Being a little bit comfortable, aka drinking a little bit more. That's what I had to do personally. Make me more comfortable. It makes you more willing to talk to more people. More customers equals more money, I guess, if that makes sense.
Um, at what point did you find out everything wasn't what it seems? When did you find out like it was deeper, and what was the situation that made you feel that way? Everything wasn't what it seemed.
Prostitution.
How much prostitution do you think goes on in Atlanta strip clubs?
I think a lot of it, at least 80% more than what you would think. Yeah.
The first time you seen prostitution going on in a strip club, how did that make you feel?
Um, the first time I saw prostitution in the strip club, I was appalled. I was shocked. I think I was more shocked out of their reaction. It was more normal, if that makes sense. They wasn't as surprised as getting caught.
So you've actually seen a girl have sex in the strip club.
Yeah, like yeah, yeah,
Did you
yeah,
make eye contact with the girl? Like, was it a situation to where like she was like, oh damn, she see me having sex?
yeah. And it was as if nothing happened, as if it was like a kid getting ready to go home from school. Hey, here's your book bag. Hey, come on, time to go. Yeah, nah.
So how did you react the first time somebody tried to pay you for sex?
When men tried to pay me to have sex with them, I cussed them out, I ignored them, or I swindled them. It was more of swindling than anything. But in the beginning, I was like, "What?" It was so belittling. It was so it was so belittling of them. It was so comfortable. Knowing what I know now, I ran into a lot of immature, ignorant men who really just didn't respect women. I made it real clear that you were going to respect me. Period.
Jill wasn't a fan of prostitution, but the fact that men wanted to have sex with her would create an opportunity for her to make money in a different way, and what many label as finessing.
Okay, so what I would do if a guy tried to pay me for sex and I wasn't with it at all, it's what one would call, here in Atlanta we use a heavy finesse. So basically I would tell them, yeah, lead them on. I will always get the money up front. Okay, let me see, give it to me up front and just never come back. My strategy personally, personally, a lot of those women are they have men and pimps. That's a real pimp whole game. So me being a single independent woman by myself, I would just lead them on and lie. I would pay the security guard, hey, yo, let me give you $30, let me give you $20. I just pay him, like, kick him out or something. Like, go on VIP. Men think, oh, you're in VIP, you're gonna have sex with them, and most women do. Some women do. I'm not gonna even say most. Some women do, some women don't. I know a lot of the women that I met was personally like me. They didn't do anything of that nature. Shout out to, you know, some of the older women I met who taught me and showed me, hey, that ain't it. But because it's that world, you're going to get tried anyway. So when they tried me, they got finessed.
Did you ever, at any point, decide to have sex for money?
Saw I didn't conquer. It wasn't something I could do. It wasn't something I was raised off doing. I would never call myself a prostitute, but it's something that I definitely um, was enticed into doing. It's something that I was um, I was very, what's the word? I was very curious, despite how crazy it sounds. Men, especially black men, from what I saw at that time, black men really love promiscuous women. It was something I was honestly very, very curious about. I was curious as to why men liked it. Hoes.
Now, when you was making money, having sex, um, what's the most you made at a time, or what's the most you ever made, like, or accumulated? How much money do you think you made over time?
I never made money having sex. I made money swindling, lying about having sex, going to rather. So I was a con artist. I made thousands and thousands of dollars being a con artist. Hate got me in the door. People love what they heard about. Men love what they can't have. So believe it or not, I was so like talked about and hated on when they met me. They would just love me. And then they would expect the worst because of what somebody done told them and stuff. And then they met me, and I was just the sweetest, purest, just coolest thing ever. And they would never suspect it. And then it was like, okay, they see me, I'm on my shit. I got stuff going on, aka I got things about myself. I'm nothing like what they heard. And then I guess that's what made them bring their guard down. So it was more like, gotcha, you know. It was more like that, but it was like, you didn't know me anyway, if that makes sense. It was all he said, she said. Free game. God gave everybody a mind of their own, but not everybody has a mind of their own. It was like, he said, she said, and
Okay, so
you know.
what was one of the main things you would do once they let their guards down? Would you ask them for a credit card? Would you get credit cards? Would you have them just buy you stuff? It was just basically whatever you wanted. You would just be like, "Can I get this? Can I get this? Can I?"
It depends. It depends. See, every guy wasn't a credit card scammer. Some was dope boys. Some was businessmen. So you gotta have guys where you can be like, "Hi, can I see your credit card? Can you buy me this?" And they put out their credit card so I can whoop, take a picture of it, or I knew which one to take. If I was to go through their pockets or something, they got the dope boys where, okay, he get messed up here, he drink a little bit too much, or he smoking too much weed, and he goes to his drawer, hey, can we go to the mall? He's putting in the safe combinations. Now, whoop, I done seen you put in your safe conversation. Now I got it, you know. Now I know your safe code, you know. So it's just, it was just a mixture of people just doing too much, moving too fast, man. Just not knowing who you around. It wasn't even that serious. They just didn't know who they was around. It's all street stuff. Nobody's wrong. No rules in the streets at all. Nobody's wrong. It was cool. Be careful doing that. In the words of my mother, watch hustling men. They might find out you're doing it and kill you. Everybody has emotions. But yeah, I was really just playing with their emotions. I've been in actually about 2, 3 situations where something really, really bad could have happened to me, but it didn't, thank God. But yeah.
At the top of her game, with no worries at all, Jill would experience what a surprisingly high number of women experienced in their lifetime: the act of being raped.
When I first saw and met the guy that raped me, my goal was to get the money that I saw him throw. Um, I had seen him throw. I had seen him twice in the club. I had seen him throw an abundance of money on um, this girl twice. So my goal was to just get some bread, quote unquote. Yes, sir. I studied him for about like a week, a week or two, you know.
And then you seen your opportunity to approach him, and then what was that conversation like?
Um, there really wasn't a conversation. I asked him for a dance. He danced me, quote unquote, allowed me to dance for him in the strip club, and it went from there. We had went out. I didn't go straight home with him. It was no prostitution type entanglement at first. It was just me being too trustworthy, thinking I knew him because he threw all this money on his girl, going out, and then that led from one thing to another. Long story short, went back to my house, engaged in a conversation, and I passed out. I passed out. Personally, I believe he put something in my drink. I was an alcoholic at the time. I was drinking, but I don't remember myself being that belligerent to have passed out. Anywho, I woke up to him having unprotected sex with me, and after that, I looked at him and was like, "Yo, what's going on?" He literally asked me, did I want him to leave? I remember saying yes, and I passed back out. Um, that's how dark that world is. I don't know if I was just drunk or did he personally put something in my drink, but I just know sex, drugs, greed overrules in that type of environment. very dark place.
Um, do you feel like he raped you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yes, sir. Without a doubt. I know for a fact he did rape me. I don't know if he put something in my drink and drugged me. I know for a fact I was raped. I don't know if I was drugged. Yeah.
And so, when you accused him of rape, what did he say to you?
Um, I was embarrassed, so I didn't say anything till about 4 months later. He replied, "Oh, broke people say anything." I had blasted him over the internet, to be exact. Oh, blah blah blah, rape me, to be exact.
So, this is a known guy around Atlanta?
Oh no, he's no. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't even nobody I would honestly talk to. No,
Okay.
look like a creep. Look as lame as he is, I guess. No.
So, did you report him or you just decided just to let it go?
I did not. Believe it or not, it wouldn't have stuck in the courtroom. Believe it or not, knowing what I know now, Georgia's a Republican state. There wouldn't have been enough evidence. Believe it or not, yeah.
So, after you was raped, how did that change you as a person? Did you go back to stripping? Did you get in heavy into drugs? Like, what was the aftermath of you being raped?
The aftermath of me being raped, I felt bad. I felt belittled. I felt disgusting. I felt like it was my fault. I felt like it was time for change. I felt that I would never let my guard down again. No one would ever get that close to me again. No man could randomly come to my house after that. It grew. It grew. I grew from it. Everything was a learning process. I grew from it.
So, did you continue to dance after that? Did you continue to um, scam and all that?
No, sir. It made me a little bit weary. It made me more cautious. It made me, I had a wanting to spirit, a continuance spirit, a continuance in the body, if that makes sense. It's mind, body, and soul. But my mind was dull. My mind no longer wanted to continue in that world I was in. But my body kept going, if that makes sense.
After being raped, slowly but surely, Jill was ready to give up the game for something more positive.
My turning point was me realizing my worth, realizing what that world held and what it was. That's a very dark world, very dark place. I no longer want to be a part of that life.
So, what was the process of you getting out of that life? Did you wake? Did you say? What did you do? You woke up, went back to school. Did you? What was the process of you leaving the strip club and becoming legit?
The process of me leaving was me just completely stopping. I never was from that world. I didn't come from that world. It was more of a reprogram. Just knowing my worth and knowing I was better than that.
Today, Jill is a successful businesswoman and mentor for several youth, and is now reaching positive heights that sometimes still even leaves her in disbelief.
That's my past, and I am so blessed to have overcome it and to be a spokeswoman. I call myself now a spokeswoman for young ladies and gentlemen to stay out the streets. I am an author of Dolce After Dark Part 1. Part 2 soon come. I am a youth motivational speaker, and I own a group home. God is amazing. I gave my life to Christ, and it is what it is. That's what it is. He's comes before any and everything in my life. He guides my life. And also, I do credit repair, as you can see here with my office.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with some words of wisdom from Georgia Jill.
No, seriously, like all you young ladies who think it's dope to be dancers, strippers, con women, whatever, in the street chicks, it is such a waste of time. You are a woman, stay a woman first. I don't care how much money you accumulate, what you decide to do in this world, stay a lady. Ladies of everything, who run the world. Beyonce said the best, girls. And it's okay to stay out the streets, young ladies and gentlemen. The world is yours.